Ladies and gentlemen of the interwebs, this is the Beacon TVL Show. I'm your host, Chris, head of Happy, Director of Client Success. Future investor occurred. That's a joke that Ken and I know about. And we're here today with the great team from Taoshi. We have the CEO Arash here, as well as Ken, the DevRel for Taoshi. Welcome, gentlemen. It's good to finally have you on the show. We met Ken and Luke, the growth lead, over at Permissionless in Salt Lake City. Really excited, as I'm a huge fan of decentralized AI and just AI in general. And knowing what we know about Taoshi, well, of course, we'll learn more in just a little bit. Just wanted to welcome you both here to the show. Please say hello for me real quick.
Hey, thanks for having us, Chris.
Yes, very much so. We're really happy to have you guys here. Same thing with you, Ken. Good to see you, sir.
Good to see you again. Yeah, it's been a couple of months, I believe, but always good to see you again.
Yeah, it's flown by pretty quickly. I was at my favorite club yesterday. That would be Costco, the wholesale club, for us older people, with my kids. And they were talking to me about something about Christmas. And so they're like, Christmas is only 36 days away. I'm like, Christmas is 36 days away?
It's crazy. This whole year is just blown by. I mean, as they say, as you get older, the years blow by. When you're younger, it just doesn't go quick enough. But now it's just blowing by. Yeah,
just flying by. I mean, the fact that my youngest child is 8 now, and I just remember literally holding her as a little chunky baby. It's a wild time. So just hold on to those memories. Keep everything that's going on in your mind, because markets have just been exploding. Obviously, Bitcoin in a much different place than when we talked back in October, Ken. So
wild. It's crazy.
We have a lot to talk about today, and Arash, thank you for being here. We'll definitely talk about Taoshi, BitTensor, Glitch Financial shortly. But as we normally do on this show, we're going to take a little bit of a look at the markets and talk about the big things that are happening in crypto. Would love to get your guys' opinion on this stuff as we move forward. And we'll start with, I will start with the market. Let me grab the... And again, we are back up to all-time high territory, 94. I think the all-time high now is 94,350, I think is what it is. 94,891. My gosh, that means we're less than a 5% move to 100,000, which honestly, back when I was looking at Bitcoin when it's $100 or $300, this is like blowing my mind.
Yeah. Similar. It's similar with me. Yeah. I mean, a few years ago, you just didn't expect it to, it's programmed in to kind of go up, but you didn't expect to see these numbers. And now that it's here, you can't believe it. And it moves so quickly. So it's, who knows, 5-10 years down the line from now, what it'll be, but it's wild to see 100K. I mean, it's nearing 100K, which is insane.
I'll be honest. I think it's a little too quick for me. I was hoping for more of a gradual ride up into the right. We have a couple corrections, couple pullbacks. Now we're going to see a ton of people possibly FOMOing in retail wise, and we may get altcoin season a little bit sooner than planned, which personally I'm still accumulating, so I'm not quite ready for. So Arash, wanted to definitely get your thoughts on what you're thinking on the market right now.
Yeah, we do quite a bit of analysis. I think there's gonna be I actually follow a couple people on Twitter. I've been in crypto probably, I think, since 2017. Mm-hmm. So there's a couple of people at this point that I really only follow on Twitter for their opinion on the market, and that's probably Kobe and Taoshi. Okay. And they're generally pretty good. They're Kobe being more bullish is something where I go, okay, maybe I'm bearish, but I think that around 100K, there's going to be a lot of resistance, but I do think it'll hit 100. So I was fully expecting that, which will be really interesting. I mean, it's crazy to see it at 100K. And honestly, it just seems like there's just so much interest. And the fact that it was in that kind of wedge for so long and it didn't drop, I mean, we didn't see a massive fall off. Even with the yen unwind, it was pretty crazy that it kind of held itself up there. So I don't know. That just kind of was a signal to me that likely going to go upward, and now we're seeing that. At this point, we'll see where the markets go. I mean, everything's kind of, I don't know. Generally, other markets kind of can impact crypto a little bit. Investors choose to go risk off, but we'll see, right? I mean, we'll see we're around 100K, and if there's any momentum loss from Bitcoin. But so far, it's been pretty wild. It's been very strong. I'm just excited to see some altcoin action that are not memes.
Too.
Not memes.
Me too.
So.
Yeah, we kind of got a little boring there for a little bit, I guess. Now we definitely are getting more than we bargained for, and we'll talk about this actually, in the next 15 minutes, because there's a lot of things to talk about with what's been happening in the markets and what's going to be impacting the markets, to the point where I'm not going to say concerned, but I'm cautiously optimistic at this point, because there's all kinds of interesting things that are trying to, bump in and manipulate the market that, sentiment wise, I don't know how you deal with it, but we're going to talk about it, and hopefully you guys can help talk me off the plank here, because I'm like looking straight down into an ocean full of meme coins, and I have like dipped my toes in over the past week. I've burnt a metric ton of sol. And I'm trying to think, are we really at the right spot in the cycle? But, we'll talk about that in just a second. So one thing I want to talk about, greed is off the charts. And we'll talk about what's contributed to that greed in just a minute. But at 90 for last week, 83 today, that is pretty nutsoid. In the face of the fact that now Bitcoin is more valuable than not only silver, but Saudi Aramco. Looking at the list down in terms of market cap, it's jumped Tesla, it's jumped Berkshire Hathaway, it's jumped Vanguard, as well as Meta. So Bitcoin is really in a world of its own at this point. It's definitely in the mind share. It's definitely, people are talking about this. I think this is... Obviously, I think Bitcoin continues to rise as probably in the same. If you look at these charts, they're really fairly similar. So I do think as these three, not gold, but as these three start to move, these four, I think we're also going to see some movement around Bitcoin as well. Any quick thoughts about this, gentlemen, about seeing this move to outgain silver?
It's absolutely wild. I honestly just seeing it on the chart. I haven't looked at it on a chart. It is just crazy. It just feels destined to be right there with gold. It's pretty wild to see. It's hard to argue against it, especially with just how much I think interest there is. I think inflows from the ETFs is like a crazy percentage greater than gold was when it launched, and gold went on a 10-year bull run, I think. So I mean, I just feel it's hard to be not bullish on Bitcoin. This could go on for quite a while. Even the dips could be weaker, than we expect. Just like we saw. I mean, the comparison to the last bull run, right? Bitcoin went to a 12K from 3K, and then it dropped all the way back with COVID crash to 33,000, 3,500.
Right.
And then it ran, right? But we saw no dip like that. I mean, again, it was just such a weak dip. And I think that's kind of preparing us for what's to come potentially in 2025, which is something very strong. So, yeah, I don't know. It's just crazy seeing it even in the same, right there with Amazon, Alphabet, Microsoft. I mean, it just feels like it's again destined to go right there with gold. So it's very cool.
I also find that NVIDIA being number 2 on this list is pretty interesting, with the recent boom of artificial intelligence, which also affects the cryptocurrency ecosystem, Bitcoin, that whole ecosystem. I find that quite interesting. And, that had a boom as well. So, there'll be more talk on AI stuff because of BitTenter. But I find that interesting that it's number 2 on this list. Yeah,
that to me, because that's how far it's come, right? Because NVIDIA wasn't always anywhere near this conversation. So the fact that it's, and I just watched Jensen Huang's last, keynote about Blackwell, and it's just amazing just to see the jumps that they've made in technology and where it's going to go. And ultimately, NVIDIA is now leading the sector, something I didn't think I'd ever see. to be quite honest. But here we are. From a news standpoint, options went live on the BTF options this week. 1.9 billion rolled in on the first day for IBIT, which is pretty crazy. This $100 call option is really getting a lot of bullish bias. Ultimately, we're going to see more of this. Hopefully we see some of this for, possibly the ETH ETF and what other crypto ETFs come this way. But obviously Bitcoin's going to lead the way. Obviously we're still in price discovery mode. We're nowhere near the point where altcoin season is just going to start, because this is still going to work itself out for some time. But like you said, Arash, 2025 is going to be a very, very productive and very good year, I think, for us here, at least in the Web3 space. So really excited to see, what we talk about here. So also, in just talking about things that are pushing the envelope, pushing the mind space, I can't go without talking about Dennis Porter and the Satoshi Action Fund, because of this new acronym of SBR, the Strategic Bitcoin Reserve. I'm cautious to really kind of push this agenda forward, or at least make people aware of it. It's good, obviously. We want the world to be pumping the bags, but there's a little bit of a centralist kind of, a centralized kind of twist to this, right? Having a Bitcoin reserve held by US stamped Bitcoin. I'm not, loving the full effect of this, but also the fact that, Pennsylvania State Senator Mike Cabell last week introduced a bill for Pennsylvania to start to create an inflation hedge with Bitcoin. There's also a challenger in Poland. There's multiple countries and multiple states starting to push bills like this for strategic Bitcoin reserves. It's just a global thing that's going to be happening over the next 3 to 10 months, I guess would be the way to think about it. But again, is this lightning in a bottle, or is this an interesting warning and caution for what things to be in terms of, I guess, governmental politics, sovereign politics coming into controlling the Bitcoin supply? What do you think, Arash?
I think it was one of those things that we started to see a little bit, or be talked about for, I don't know how long now, 4 or 5 years, that there's going to be more government agencies that are going to be kind of buying up Bitcoin. We've been wanting to see it. I mean, I think it's kind of general sentiment's been positive towards this. However, it's a little weird to see in the US. I mean, I don't know, maybe it was it's a little off-putting. I agree. However, we'll see if these things pass. I mean, it'll be interesting, I think, once if they do pass, what impact they have. But it is weird because, you want to have that decentralized state of Bitcoin. So I don't know. It's I think it's good. It could be good and bad, but maybe Bitcoin's already at $250,000 of Bitcoin by the time these things do pass, right? And it's so expensive, and it's just pushing the price even further. So I'm unsure. But it is interesting to see that the US is getting involved. Generally, it was kind of, I think we all kind of were hoping that this direction would happen, though. I mean, they having a reserve, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and Ken, we I think we might have talked about this in Salt Lake, but the idea that ultimately multiple ways to leverage this, like if you've read kind of the things we've covered previously, President-elect Trump was really just swayed by the idea of having Bitcoin as a way to solve an energy crisis, more than anything. That's what he was really sold on when it comes to this. All of this other stuff is kind of like icing on the cake, to a degree. But, looking at the steps of what really the easiest way that this would happen through an executive order, Arash has already given his thoughts. What are your thoughts? I'd like to get your take on what you think about this overall, obviously, because you mentioned, things being pre-programmed. In a way, this kind of pre-programs Bitcoin to a much higher level than what we were looking at previously, if this runs through.
Yeah, certainly. We were discussing earlier, just we didn't see some of these things coming, and now we wanted them. Some of these things, you kind of want higher adoption. You want Bitcoin to be recognized by some of these entities as well. But to a lot of this stuff, it's to be determined, the effects of it all. We do want larger parties to have us, to be included in the conversation, so we can also gain some clarity on Bitcoin and what these things mean for the wider group. But going back to what Rash was saying, it's to be determined. We want wider adoption, but some of that can be scary. Some of that we might not agree with. So we'll have to see. We'll have to pay attention to all this and see kind of what happens. But I'm cautiously optimistic on the future. And I'm excited. Hopefully Bitcoin will be at a point, and could currently already be at a point where you can't really stop it. I kind of think that's the case, but certainly some of these larger actors can kind of have a bigger sway in some of these things. So to be determined, and we'll see what happens later down the line.
I completely agree.
Doesn't the US government hold like a ridiculous amount of Bitcoin from seizing it?
Yeah.
As well.
Yeah, the Mt. Gox thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right. Yeah. Good point.
So it kind of already has. It kind of already has that. They already have that kind of quote unquote like reserve. You kind of think like they hold it. I mean, they could choose to do whatever they want with it. So that is already a little bit. That scares the market already. I mean, imagine if they have this reserve and how it could scare the market based off whatever decisions they make. So yeah, I don't think they have a Michael Saylor in the U.S. government. That's that. I don't know that's convinced that it'll just hold forever, but it'll. If they did, that would be great. But I think the problem is the manipulation and spooking, which could absolutely happen.
The
he
government
keeps buying though.
They're Bitcoin whales, the government, but
yeah,
he does keep buying.
I hope that the U.S. government acts like Michael Saylor is what I'm saying. Like I hope that's the the attitude they have. Like they hold on to it. But we'll see.
I mean, at this point, it makes me wonder why people sell. And I know that people are selling because obviously there's been enough resistance, right? Watching the price go back and forth, that people are wondering, why is Bitcoin at this level with all of the interest and not higher? And I do think there's a couple of specific things. I don't actually have anything, queued up with, what I've seen, but I've been hearing in the back channels that, you have things like the Celsius liquidations, people getting made whole from FTX and various other things that are out there, that people are trying to get their Bitcoin, seeing the price of where it was, obviously probably much higher than when they had it, when they probably bought in. So they're probably taking profits or liquidating, or, if the US government, you're probably just moving things around and causing panic and fear between multiple wallets, which they seem to be doing on a 3 or 4 times a week at this point, at least through what most of the trackers are looking at. So with that said, I just want to go ahead.
Oh, sorry. I was just going to quickly say, I think that some of that stuff is just like the natural cycle of Bitcoin. For the price to not have gone up, like we had from a mining perspective, just a network perspective, hash rate bins on TradingView is a great indicator, and there was minor capitulation that was really happening in the market. Shout out to Capriol Investments with that indicator. They gave it to everyone for free, which is great. But yeah, you can easily just monitor, sell pressure from miners, right? That is typically just part of the process of going into a bull cycle. And the price was stable throughout it. Last cycle, it went from 12 to 3K. So, for it to survive that and now be at 95 or 94 is crazy.
Yeah, we're seeing, just with regards to altcoins and just alt layer ones and whatnot that are out here, things that are going way up as pretty much part of the gift wrap present for Gary Gensler, pretty much on his way out as SEC chair. There's some interesting things that have happened. I mean, even this week we saw ADA and XRP. I mean, seeing XRP above $1 again, should have bought. But regardless, what we know about XRP, with DeFi coming to XRP in Honest in the next couple of months, that's up. H bar is up. We're seeing all kinds of things fly, right? And one thing I don't have in the agenda is, related to this, is that Zeus, the original developer of Olympus Finance and the DAO, he's holding a community call today. I think it's actually just passed. He hasn't had a community call for Ohm in 3 years, and he had one today. So I guess we'll see what happens from here. But we're seeing some really good movement, some good blue chip meme coins like Brett and Bonk. And I don't know why this is minus 16, but it is what it is. It'll come back, obviously. So, but we're seeing a very interesting, just an interesting setup here, I think, for the next couple of weeks as we head into the end of the year. A lot of interesting metas, guys, and we'll talk about this obviously with Taoshi and the way you guys look at the market and stuff like that, because I want to isolate that time for you guys to show us more about glitch and all this awesome stuff you guys have on the horizon. But I just want to take a quick second again. If you're liking what you're hearing, thank you again to our friends here from Taoshi and Glitch Financial here today with us today. Please, if you have a chance, join our free group at Total Value Locked. That is our free group here from Beacon. We have eclipsed 1,000 members. We're on our way to 2,000 now. Absolutely free. If you're curious about decentralized finance, looking for people you can trust, we've been in the space for 5 years. We've helped onboard tens of thousands of people into DeFi. Learn from the best in the business for free at Beacon, Skool.com/Beacon, Total Value Locked, and learn more about our other offers that we have if you're looking to get there faster. And again, be a part of this burgeoning, growing community of action takers. We are on the way up. The markets are looking great, and everyone's super happy. So join us there. And again, feel free to like and subscribe. Follow us on Twitter, and also follow these guys at Taoshi.io and Glitch Financial are the handles for that. So please feel free to do that. And we'll talk more about Taoshi in just a minute. So while we're there, let's talk about the things that have just kind of made me just kind of like I went in earnest. Like we're gonna hit these meme coins because they're flowing, and then we see some of the stupidest crap on the internet. For example, I don't know if you've heard about this, guys.
I saw this guy this morning.
I did.
This guy.
I saw this. I saw this last night.
Yeah. No, this is.
Unbelievable.
I for context, I have a 14-year-old nephew, and he's a good young man. A man of faith. Going to school, straight A's, on the tennis team. I'm not going to talk crap about anybody else's kid, but this kid went ahead and created. And this is the good and the bad about crypto, right? Because we have multiple market participants. If you didn't think that kids were participating in crypto and DeFi trading, this is a bit of a wake-up call for you parents. If you don't know if your kid is, shopping around CSGO skins or, all kinds of interesting things that are going on. He created a free token, a free meme coin on pump.fun on Solana, called it Quant. Then decided to, quote unquote, rug or sell all of his tokens for a $30K profit. Good for the kid, right? Well, community didn't like that when they found out about that, so they decided to put on their CTO hats. And CTO, for anybody who doesn't understand that term, means community takeover. And they went ahead and bought the token and pushed it to 75 million market cap as a revenge trade. Only in this world could we talk about revenge trading. This is like peak meme coin cycle. Had he held, and lovely that he puts the double middle fingers up to us, but he would have made multi-million-dollar. 12 or 13 years old, would have made millions of dollars. First of all, as a parent, I got thoughts on this. I'm not really going to talk about them too much, but I did want to get your guys' take on what this means for good products, good projects that are trying to make a good splash. Obviously, things like this. This is the joy and just the curse of free markets, man.
Yeah, 100%. I gotta say, the meme coins are slowly winning me over. I have sworn off of them for years. I mean, 2017 was when I really first got introduced into crypto. I've had it for quite a while before that as well, but 2017 was when I really dived in, and I've been able to stay off of meme coins for the longest time. But there is something about them, and I do believe they're kind of the entry point into crypto for a lot of people, because some of these concepts are a little bit more deeper to understand. But then, of course, you get some of these things here as well. So they're slightly winning me over, because I like the comical side of it all, rather than just everything being so serious. But and I think it's an indicator on where the overall market's going to go. Once these meme coins, who you could argue if they have value. I mean, I guess that's subjective, but I think, and there are some DeFi projects still that are kind of doing well, even though meme coins are doing well. I find it really interesting. We'll see. I think it's just the start of it all. I think it's how people, start getting into crypto. So I think that's a good thing. But of course, they're not really bringing real value, in my opinion. But I like some of them. So that's kind of my thoughts.
You know what's interesting is I was 2 days ago, I was reading a tweet from someone I know at a major blockchain, who works there. Like many founders, they work a real part. They work another daytime job in the fiat world, along with their Web3 position. And he just talked about how he was driving to work for his 9 to 5, realizing that there are 12 and 13-year-old kids making 5 figures and how many bands on on meme coins. And it's kind of a tough pill to swallow, right? This is part of the FOMO that builds into people. They're like, why am I here slaving away for X amount of dollars per hour? I could just go and be like this kid and, snap 50 bands in 12 hours. So Arash, I wanted to get your thought as a CEO and founder, obviously, for stuff like this. I had to turn off his video because that was triggering me, but at the same time, it's like, this is like, this is why we can't have nice things, brother.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think about like, how did we get here?
Yeah.
Right? Like, I think that's really fascinating. We obviously had Dogecoin, which was kind of the original. Then we saw last cycle, this development of like SHIB and like these other kind of meme coins kind of develop, right, and get a lot of attention. We saw during the bear market that Pepe was getting a lot of attention, right? And then we also kind of just saw this general culture towards memes. Like GME was kind of a meme in itself, right? And
right.
It kind of took off. And so we saw people wanting to take a chance on something. And I feel that it's because I feel that part of the reason that this is becoming so popular is people feel like they have like a lack of opportunity.
Exactly.
Which is actually playing into why we created kind of Taoshi and Glitch Financial. But I think there's this like concentration on the casino, right? Like we've seen sports gambling be enabled across, so many states now, right? Just this idea of gambling is being widely adopted. And this just plays into that as well. And so to me, it's just this wider adoption of a gambling mentality, right? Or where can I get opportunity in the markets because I'm feeling pressure in some other way in my life financially. So, people want to have fun, but they also like want to have opportunity. And I think that both those things kind of play into this widening of this market. And I don't know where it goes. I think I saw some on-chain analysis. First off, I've seen this video, so I watched it last night, and I'm familiar. And I think actually, just quickly on them, their whole family contributes into this like thing. It's not just this kid. Like,
I know.
Parents enable him and stuff like that, which is crazy to me. I have kids of my own. And I think the other thing I saw, just not related to them, is that I think 99% of participants, based off on-chain data, I saw that like 99% of participants in memes end up in losses. So It's not like, we see a lot on social, the big wins, right? People share that, it gets spread. And I think that contributes as well to more people wanting to kind of take part in this casino. But the reality is most people lose, majority, if not almost all people lose. So it's hard to win in that. And so you really are gambling. But yeah, just really interesting, like to see over the cycles, over time, just this wider adoption and seeing it take off. And now it's really owning the altcoin market. It's wild. I mean, people are, I don't know, I saw some people posting about justifying the value of like PopCat. And I'm like, what are we doing here? Like, like PopCat should be in top 5 if you look at blah, blah, blah. I'm like, we're talking about meme coins, which is crazy for us in the world of BitTensor because we're trying to build, or anybody in altcoins are trying to build a real product. It is surprising, but at the same time, that's just the direction based off of what we've been seeing and just cycles over time. So it's all fascinating. It's the human behavior of it human element is what I'm always fascinated by.
Yeah, and that's a great point. I just wanted while we transition to our next subject before you start talking about Taoshi, have you guys been following Decentralized Science at all?
Yeah, we actually have DeFi inside of the BitTensor ecosystem.
That's fantastic. I was just asking because we've been following, we've been following the pump.science and just the DAOs that are in here specifically, and just watching these things just fill, and at pump.science specifically, the ability to create meme coins built on top of pump.fun to represent IP tokens specifically is crazy. It's wild. It was not on my bingo card at all for 2024 or 2025. Because to me, I always thought it was more about, how are we going to make ZK work for decentralized science? But interesting use cases for this stuff. And again, like you said, these are just rebranded meme coins. They're pegged to something different, but overall, we went from having a casino that talked about cultural things like, executed squirrels and raccoons, to literally talking about, the next big movement in pharmaceuticals.
This is something that's really fascinating to me. I've actually wanted to think about how we could incorporate this more into BitTensor. There's a Macrocosmos, which is one of the companies in the BitTensor ecosystem, has a protein folding subnet.
Oh, I like that.
Which is really cool. Yeah. So we're seeing, and there's more being introduced. There's more DeFi subnets that are coming along. I haven't followed them as much, but yeah, we are seeing that creating challenges via subnets, which is really what BitTensor is. You can solve any computational problem really on BitTensor. We're seeing subnets come about that are in the DeFi space trying to tackle various things. So it's pretty awesome to see. I think this is really cool. I mean, I think getting funding or tackling the various problems in the scientific space, like especially for healthcare, is something I've been really interested in, and being able to bring that into crypto. So essentially, your funding and the way that you operate, and then having it tied together, right, from a revenue share perspective. All these things, I thought would be really fascinating, and I think we're going to see probably more of that, honestly, in the BitTensor ecosystem. So it's a really cool space to be in.
Oh, I like hearing that because I've been a BitTensor fan since day one. So I like hearing this stuff. This is what we need to see. Tech is for the masses. I don't know if everyone's ever seen what's that movie with Ryan Phillippe that goes against darn it, I can't remember it. That goes against Microsoft and Apple and all that kind of stuff, where the revolution should be free for everybody in terms of tech. So not the net, do something else, but regardless, we'll go ahead and jump before we get into Taoshi, and it's adjacent to Taoshi. Specifically on just something we've talked about this every week for the last month, and I'm still trying to wrap my head around AI agents, specifically with regards to how it's really affected meme coins. We're talking about things like Ethernet from Higher Collective on Farcaster, talking with another bot called Clanker, and autonomously, just like the way that, Goat and Truth Terminal kind of started, Clanker is now just pumping out its own meme coin tokens. We've pushed some of this stuff in our mastermind specifically just because it's just creating its own culture, buying its own tokens, which is fine because that's what bots do anyway. To the point where now Binance is just blogging about this kind of stuff since they've promoted Goat and Act through listings. I ultimately, our group, we love running concentrated liquidity plays to squeeze as much yield out of these these opportunities as possible. But I did want to talk to you both specifically about how you feel about AI agents and how they are possibly going to be impacting you guys at Taoshi moving forward. So I'll talk with you first, Arash.
Yeah, I'm not really sure what to think of them. I think they're just so...
Same here.
Yeah, I don't know how effective they are. I think they're great at creating a culture. I mean, they kind of spout whatever they want. But in terms of like effectiveness and actual, like for us, we do like, actual trading, like using financial indicators and advanced machine learning strategies. Like I have no idea how these things actually do in any kind of like setting of trading, or how effective they would be. In general, transformers are not the best at actually trading. They're usually a layer that you could potentially use, but like that's still like under investigation. There's a lot of stuff being thought about there. So I don't know. It's kind of I have no idea what to think of these things. They seem like they're. I think it's just part of the AI cycle. I'm not really.
Yeah.
I don't really have too much thought there. What do you think, Kenneth?
Yeah. No, I probably agree with you, Arash. I don't have that much. I'm a little bit unfamiliar with those, but certainly, as we've kind of discussed, there's an underlying cultural thing to it. Of course, the AI shift, Nvidia being number 2 on that early list that we watched. These AI tokens taking off, these AI agents. There's something underneath all that I find super interesting as well. So what's going to come out of it, and certainly with a lot of these things, we're searching right now for the actual true tech behind it all. So could there be something there? For sure. Even with these meme coins, there's a cultural thing under it, and are we really searching for the specific use case? For sure. So probably with a lot of these yet to be determined, and I'm interested in seeing what the future can bring with these tokens. Each cycle has had kind of like a trend. This year's AI, last year DeFi, and all that stuff, and we're just kind of searching for what the real use case is. So I find it interesting. Don't have many thoughts around the AI agents. Haven't dig too deep into those, but we'll see what 2025, 2026, what they could bring.
Yeah, for me, I think it's about my personal take on this is that we're still awaiting a new wallet meta. And I think that merges in with AI, with agents, so that now AI agents become a higher wallet level, application, API type of, pipeline. So that essentially what I think is going to happen is you'll be able to literally just use natural language to just point out and say, I want you to trade between these two tokens, or at least look out for this meta. I'm interested in some of the new pharmaceutical DeFi stuff, or if I want something with a market cap greater than 500 million, help find me trades for something like that. I could definitely see that as something that happens sometime within the next, I'm just going to say 6 months now, because I was thinking it'd be like a couple years away, but I didn't think anything that blew up this year would have been on the card. For me, it's like, I'm not repeating the same stuff over. It's going to be the intersection of NFT, utility, GameFi, and some type of DeFi, primitive. And now we're looking at AI meta, we're looking at RWAs, and a mountain tsunami of tokenized stablecoins coming down the pipe in the next 6 months. We're looking at, a huge number of retail participants FOMOing back in, looking for something, and looking at, you could even make the argument that stuff like this, we have a CTO, a community takeover, maybe an AI TO, with some, not necessarily misinformation, because the majority of these bots that you find on Twitter that are just talking to each other, they literally just spit out cultural nonsense. So it's like, if people were to come into this space and looking at that, and they're like, what am I reading? I'm not going to lie, I bought into a coin, with a Twitter account that was an AI agent, that's created a pumped on fun token based on a crypto punk that got accidentally burnt. So it's like talking about its new life as I'm back on chain. And then of course AI16Z with Eliza, quote unquote, setting her free. But people not realizing that there's a CTO coin and then a Cabal coin. So, and it's stupid PvP so things, much. But
I feel like I'm almost like too old to like.
That's how I feel. Yes, that's how I feel. So like, I am too old for this shit.
What is happening? You know what I mean?
Yes. I'm like, am I really seeing what I'm seeing here? Did I just see, a live streaming waifu anime character called Luna mobile live streaming me about how to game while still, having some type of degen activity over her token on virtuals.io and Base? It's like,
that's crazy.
I feel like we're like the people that are stuck on like the landlines when the cell phone came out. You know what I mean? Like, what is happening right now?
It might be, I'll be honest, it might be PTSD, right? Because, I mean, in our group, at least, most of us were looking at 16K BTC in the face 18 months ago, right?
Yeah.
So it's like now we have all of this here, and, AI has now come in a big way, like not just like, oh, there's a couple things here and there. I mean, we have Coinbase, having their smart agents where you can spin up something in 3 minutes with no code, like to anybody. All it takes is $40. I mean, it's just one of these things where, the technology is moving so fast. There's so much to look at because there's so much competition, so much saturation. It's hard to find what are the good protocols that are going to be. So hopefully through our collaboration, through multiple collaborations out there, our goal here at Beacon, of course, has always been to educate the masses on, separating the true alpha from the noise, right? One thing that we say in our group is, that's a meme, is confusion equals money. And there's a lot of confusion out there. And the people who can look past the confusion are going to be the ones that make the money. And right now we're just trying to keep all the 12-year-olds sitting at home on their Xboxes and not, PvPing us to death out here in these markets.
Yeah, it's absolutely insane. I mean, I think the cultural side of these like meme coins is I can't follow, and like I don't even know what's going on. I mean, that whole squirrel thing with Peanut, like I just my brain would never be like, oh yeah, let me go buy this meme coin. Like, I don't even connect. I'm like, you know what I mean? Like, oh, this kid created quant and then he dumped. Okay, that's probably going to zero. No, it takes off, right? Like my brain doesn't follow these patterns. Like it's not capable of comprehending, this is the route that's likely going to happen. Yeah. So like I could never trade meme coins. I actually we got asked if we're going to create a subnet around meme coins. I was like, we're never going to do that. It just, I don't know how you predict any of this, like, or like how,
exactly.
Like, the prediction side is nearly impossible.
Yeah, that's one of the things for me too. Why is GOAT or Peanut better than Chill Guy? And it's hard for me to really just pin that down. Okay, it's the message, it's the artwork, it's the memes that actually come along with it. But that's, and certainly too, we've been very heads down building as well. And you can't there's just so much going on right now, which I enjoy. I like seeing it. I find it fascinating. Sometimes very annoying. That kid that dumped on his people, whatnot. But we'll see. We'll see. Certainly, we're searching right now. The community searching, the ecosystem searching for use cases with AI. We'll see because there's something there. There is something there. What it is, you kind of got to throw things at the wall to really figure it out and see what catches on. So I'm excited to see what the cross section of crypto and AI is. I think the two pair pretty well together. But what that specifically is to be determined.
Exactly. Our show is meant to educate people who don't know a ton about DeFi and are looking to get in. So I just want to give you guys these takeaways. Ultimately, be very careful with markets like these. The bad actors arise. There are a lot of people looking to scam you. Don't act unless you have good information. Obviously, joining a community like ours to get that type of edge to keep you on the right path is very important. Have a plan. Don't FOMO or just act emotionally, farm emotionlessly, and treat things like a business. Honestly, it's a matter of people don't realize that this money is real until it's gone from your wallet, and it'll be gone in a blink of an eye. And I tell you that with great accuracy and great experience. Let me make most of the mistakes, not all the mistakes, for you guys. So just be safe out there, and just be careful. There are really great projects just like Taoshi, just like Glitch Financial out there that are looking to make a difference in the way that we can generate wealth moving forward. So with that said, we'll go ahead and transition into that. So, I met you guys at Permissionless in Salt Lake City, and I'm a big fan of decentralized AI. The fact that AI should belong to the masses and not to a privileged few capitalist companies. And wanted to really just kind of get started, Arash, if you wanted to walk us through a little bit about, what Taoshi is, how it got started, and really how it aligns with, the ethos of BitTensor, which is Tau.
Yeah, absolutely. So, background for me, over a decade in big tech and tech startups as in software engineering, and then switched into the quant world, created a company called Tarvis Labs, created our own quant strategies, and then stumbled upon BitTensor one day and reached out and said, I want to create a subnet. I got in touch with Const, who is the co-founder, and we're one of the first subnets launched. And really, our goal, I learned a lot when I created Tarvis Labs, and one of the things was we had created our strategies, and one of the things that we were confronted with was, what do we want to do next, right? You kind of have this fork where you're like, okay, do we just privatize this and use it for ourselves, like our strategies, or do we open this up, in some way to others? And if you go that route, then it's like, okay, do you go hedge fund or do you open up to everyone, right? And create kind of like another model. And what I learned was a lot about hedge funds and just how most people that create these quant firms that create privatized models go the hedge fund route, and it closes it off from really the rest of the world. You're really only allowing a certain number of clients, right, access. And that's like either 100 to 1,000 people, right, or entities. And so what we see is that the best trading strategies are really just brought and held within these firms, and only people with great wealth are allowed access. And that was really an odd thing to learn more about. And so when I learned about BitTensor, the first thing we want to do was try to build networks that provided the greatest democratized signal. So building subnetworks really where everyone tries to contribute trading signals that can then be put together into more sophisticated trading strategies, leveraging the power of machine learning or AI. And really, that's the direction we've gone down now for a year. We've built essentially the first of its kind decentralized prop firm. So, so something that's a really strong commodity. You can imagine everyone's competing to try to provide the best trading strategy possible. A lot of the participants are leveraging machine learning models, and then they're contributing those strategies, and then we judge them based off risk-adjusted returns. So, we've seen this culture of memes, which is high risk, high reward. We are very much the opposite. It's about risk-adjusted returns. It's about proper methodologies that you would typically see at a hedge fund. But what's great about what we're doing is we're in this world of BitTensor where those signals are democratized. So anybody can go run a validator and contribute to the ecosystem, to our network, and get access to those signals. We actually created something called the request network, where you can actually go purchase the signals directly from the validator if you don't want to contribute, and get the signals. So you can go buy these signals, powerful trading signals, from validators right now. And what we're trying to do is just blow this whole thing up a bit. Like, we want to disrupt this idea of privatization of trading strategies. We want people to contribute their strategies, be incentivized to do so, be rewarded for that, right? And kind of move away from this idea of hedge funds. And this competitive environment has been pretty productive so far, and we're just seeing it continue to evolve and get better and better as we continue to build it out. And really, that's the basis of what we created at Taoshi. That's why we talk about democratizing this wealth generation opportunity for the masses. So it was creating these signals. It's the production of these signals from the miners, the contributors to the network. And then what we did was we said, hey, let's open this up. Let's get, how can we open, we've created these signals, we've democratized these signals. Now, how do we build something that can take the power of these signals and enable so many people access in a way that's simpler, right? So plug and play, right? You can take these signals, we can put it into curated strategies, and then allow people to just plug in to their existing accounts and run. And that's what Glitch Financial is. Glitch is essentially a layer on top of our subnet. And what it is making it so you can just go through like a 5-step process. You sign up, you choose your strategy, you choose your exchange or your broker, you plug it in, and it automatically runs and trades for you, and you don't have to do anything. And you can see the performance directly within your account. You can go and you'll be able to, in the future, be able to go into like Fidelity, Robinhood, If you use Coinbase futures, whatever your interest is or whatever your accounts are, and you're going to be able to access your account, see it automatically trading, and be hands-free, right? That's the idea, is just keep it plug and play. And these strategies on our end, the curated strategies, we are aiming to have them on par with the best hedge funds in the world. We're seeing some really promising results, and that's kind of you can choose in your account settings, you can choose your risk tolerance, right? You can choose your leverage limits if you want to increase the amount of leverage you're using. So if you want to go with a more risky approach, you can definitely do that. You can also go less risk. So if you you have various levers you can pull in terms of risk tolerance with those strategies as well. But we really built this with Glitch Financial to be built for the masses, right? We're talking about opportunity. We were talking about opportunity with memes, and what we're really hoping actually with Glitch Financial is to move a bit away from this idea of a casino culture back to an opportunity which is proper risk-adjusted returns. Like, you can properly manage your risk and produce something you can get strong returns from it. Which, if you think about it, like, retailers have kind of never had anything like this before. The opportunities have been always high risk, high reward. We're looking at GME, right? Sticking it to hedge funds was a big cultural move there.
Right.
We're kind of playing a little bit into that. Like, we kind of align with that just based off our experiences from Targus Labs. Like, we don't want to go that hedge fund route. We want to enable this. We want to disrupt this space and allow people access to really complex trading strategies, which they've never had access to before. So there's a massive opportunity for us to deliver something for people. And so really what we consider ourselves are like a quant firm for the people. So it's like an open hedge fund. We want to build things that are very tangible, right? This isn't gimmicky for people to see great results in their accounts and choose how, it's that next iteration off of what we think. Some ideas were brought up from historical, like Wealthfront, Robinhood, this idea of being for people, but I don't know if the delivery was really there. We're trying to iterate on that and provide something really tangible for them. So yeah, that's from a mission perspective, strong alignment. From a product perspective, strong product. So we just want to deliver for the masses.
Nice. So I'm curious, what are the asset classes that you're currently supporting on Glitch?
The number one asset class that we're going to be starting with is crypto.
Okay.
Just because we have some strong familiarity with it.
Right.
And BitTensor is in the crypto space.
Right.
So we see a lot of participation there. And really, we built this to be usable across many exchanges, DEXs. And so you can kind of spread kind of the order filling across many of them. So it's meant to handle a lot of funds.
Wonderful. I guess the question I have, and maybe this is more pointed to you, Ken, is just navigating and we had this conversation in Salt Lake City, navigating the technological route and just the ease of use for users. What's the easiest way for users to get, onto Glitch Financial? Will they have to get a BitTensor wallet? Can they use existing wallets? Tell me a little bit about that roadmap. The
nice thing with Glitch is it's non-custodial. We're not, managing your funds ourselves. We plug right into different exchanges, different protocols. So you can kind of come as you are with what you have. And also the nice thing with this product is we've been talking a while about with crypto, with Ethereum, with different things, is not knowing the underlying tech. So while we are using things like BitTensor, the end user will only kind of really see the results. They don't really have to play around with the specifics of BitTensor, which that's how you kind of can bring in the masses. They don't, we're using this tech right now to share this live stream. We're using it, but we don't know the underlying tech. So we're able to use BitTensor in a number of ways and leverage it to really gamify trading, as Arash has alluded to. So a lot of users, they can come with we just plug right into different exchanges, DEXs, as Arash has said, and we kind of sit on top of that and kind of assist the user. So it's fairly easy, and as you said, you can you can go to Glitch Financial and take a look at more and kind of see how we're executing that.
Yeah, one thing that I noticed that, and we'll share the tweet, along with the recording for this, is that you guys are coming into your beta phase here for some real world usage. So, talk to me a little bit about just the sign up process and what you're expecting of users. We have a huge community of people who are willing to test and give you their feedback on something like this.
Yeah, in Q1, plan right now is beta. We're going through alpha period right now, which is just internal testing.
Yep.
And in order to sign up, you just go to the website, sign up for beta. It's a pretty easy form submission. We have, I think, already 800 signups with very little marketing right now. There's a lot of interest. I mean, again, I think it's one of those things where people are really interested. I mean, we're a BitTensor company, right? We have like Taoshi is, and we built something that's very tangible, right? On top of that, this is a real product, which is going to produce real revenue, which is, I guess, kind of rare, you could say, in the world of crypto, like having a real product, which is something we really wanted
within BitTensor. Sorry for interrupting, but even rarer in BitTensor. So it's AI is kind of the hype in BitTensor as well, but we have a working product, So sorry for cutting you off, Arash, but.
Oh no, it's all good. Yeah, I think we really want to deliver something that's tangible, that can showcase the real world utility of BitTensor and what subnets can produce, and that's why we built all of this as well. This is showcasing how powerful BitTensor is from one subnet, really, and there's currently 64 subnets slots. So you can imagine, something like this. Every subnet with dynamic TAO, which is coming out. Every subnet's going to get their own token, so you can imagine some kind of, there's a token and there's a product, probably some relationship there. So you can imagine real utility, real revenue, and those tying back to, potentially a token. And you can imagine as one scales, the other scales, right? And imagine all of that tied back to TAO. That's really the direction we're pushing things towards, and that's the direction BitTensor is going in, is commodities, AI-driven commodities. That's what we're building, and we are a leader definitely in the space when it comes to being further along. And we just hope that this kind of opens people's eyes to BitTensor and TAO, honestly, because there's just not a lot. You can imagine within a year we built the subnet. We have a near 20-person team at this point, but built the subnet, built the infrastructure for enterprise software for executing trades, delivering this to market, getting people onboarded, having subscription-based model, and then tying, there's a token tied to that. So you can imagine, just if we're one subnet, you can imagine when there's thousands of subnets, the level of competition to get people's attention and what that does to the price of TAO.
Yeah, that was going to be my next question, is like, obviously we have 64 subnets, currently, in the current setup, and just seeing the different parts of the ecosystem where you can actually, would you call, BitTensor at this point a really interesting one-stop shop of different products that could really just revolutionize the way you look at wealth generation along with Glitch?
I think BitTensor is going to be, it's just every commodity you can think of that becomes decentralized. Ours is trading signals and trading strategies. That's the commodity, is these curated strategies that you can create, right? By combining these. It's a decentralized prop firm. But you can imagine, image generation as another commodity, images, production of images, or storage, or compute. These are all different commodities that all exist via singular subnets, right? And it's pretty much endless. If you can think of a subnet as just a problem that you want people to solve, right? Via compute. And if you think of it that way, it's really limitless as to like the number of potential opportunities from a subnet perspective for what can be solved.
Yeah.
Which is
to that
incredible.
point, yeah, one example I like to share is gamifying an LLM. Think pitting ChatGPT versus Claude scoring the result, incentivizing the one with the best result, and returning that result to the end user, you're able to grade the result and continuously get better over time as well. And each of these models are getting better as well. So it's pretty interesting ecosystem comprised of all these subnets that are doing their specific tasks, and within that, the product, the commodities getting better over time, and people have access to. Hopefully, they should have access to some of those commodities as well. So that's what we're trying to do at Subnet 8, Taoshi, gamifying trading, and we've seen a lot of success with it so far.
No, you're absolutely on the nose with that, and I'm excited to see, just from having the ability to just get better information. Obviously, LLM powered, democratized. I guess my question around that is, so if someone just decides to just put in a strategy like that, that's available in Glitch, correct? The ability to create, to put in your own strategy that other people can follow. Did I follow that correctly?
Currently, the way that it works is that's more on the subnet side. You can you can actually spin up a miner, very similar to Bitcoin, right? You have miners, validators. So we have all these miners competing with their unique strategies, and then we judge their performance and incentivize their performance. So it's very hard to compete. I would say it's very, very tough competition. But there's you can definitely do that. Anybody can. Kenneth's actually working on some really cool stuff around this. I don't know if you want to talk a little bit about it, Kenneth. But Kenneth's working on some really cool stuff about making it really easy for miners to plug in and compete. So that's part of DevRel and really what he's been owning. So you want to hit on that, Kenneth?
Yeah, no, the goal is, because this is newer tech. Sometimes when tech is released, there is a bit of barrier of entry. So I've been working on a product through Taoshi to just make onboarding onto SN8 a little bit easier through a UI. So continuously working on that. Hopefully, I'm not sure how much I should say. Arash, you can give me the wink if I could say more. But we're just really trying to make it easier to connect different signals to SN8 for people who aren't as tech savvy. And I've been tasked to do that. And we should be having something.
Go ahead, Kenneth. You can elaborate.
Yeah, essentially, I mean, you have your exchanges that a lot of people use, and you can connect to some of our infrastructure that I'm currently building that automatically sends those trades, those signals to PTN automatically. So there's no code in there. Just you can set up your keys through an API through a front end, and even run a miner through a front end. We're exploring a lot of different things through that as well, but we're really just trying to make it, because we kind of see it as a spectrum of people working, trying to integrate into SN8, some who are more tech savvy, some who are less, and just covering people on that spectrum. So one of these products that I'm working on is just making trades automatically being digested through PTN, just to make it easier for users. So excited to work on that, excited to jam on something like that, and there should be something soon that we can cover more on.
Yeah, I'll hit a little bit on this because I'm really excited about it. So
there you go.
So when we say SN8 PTN, it's all Taoshi's subnet. That's subnet 8, which is the proprietary trading network PTN. What Kenneth is building is a way for people, people go trade on their exchanges right now. Right? IBIT, Binance, Coinbase, OKX, whatever they're using, right? MEXC. So they're already performing their trades. What we're saying is, okay, how can we make it really easy for someone to just plug into PTN, right, onto SN8 as a miner and come compete? And so what Kenneth's actually doing is he's creating a connector from all of those exchanges directly to PTN and using a UI for setup. So you can just say, hey, I already put my trades on Bybit. Why don't you just pull my orders? So you can just pull your orders directly into PTN and compete and receive emissions. You can actually earn Tau from your trades on Bybit and earn Tau from your trades on MEXC. So you can earn additional, you can earn more by plugging in, if you have a solid trading strategy, by leveraging your existing exchanges and the existing strategies you're using on those exchanges. So it's making it super easy for people to come compete on PTN, lowering the barrier of entry, because it is a highly technical space to be in. Like, most traders don't understand. If you're a trader, like, maybe you don't know how to plug in, and so yeah, that's something we're going to be doing a lot of and expanding on, which is what Kenneth is doing in the DevRel role.
Yeah, and like we've said before, with the request network, with this project that I'm working on, some of these technologies, you want to use them, but you don't want to know that you're using them. We want to facilitate it just to make it easier for people to use BitTensor, access to these subnets and whatnot. We're putting out tech that people don't even know that they're using BitTensor. You know, we're using the web right now. We're not familiar with HTTP protocol. So Taoshi's kind of the leader in putting out tech that just people don't know that they're using BitTensor, but they're getting the rewards of BitTensor. So it's fascinating space, and we're just trying to make it easier for people to knock down the door and utilize some of these democratized different commodities with us trading.
No, I love it, and that's kind of that's where our missions align for the most part, right? We're just trying to make it so that the experience of the front end is really all you care about, because everything else is abstracted. Everything else is just starting to blur together anyway. So you're not going to know where it's coming from. You just know that you can connect all of your services here. It all works, and you can touch grass. You can go do other things with your day than sitting at a terminal and just waiting for the next big trade to come through, when you can utilize tools that make it so much easier, right? The idea is you're working smarter, not harder. So
you can go launch that meme coin that you've been thinking of.
Yeah, I don't even know how we even started on. Was it Curd?
I don't know. I think one of the guys we work with is from Wisconsin, and we were talking
That's
about
what it was.
burger.
Yeah,
we got on
we got on curds, cheese curds. So
don't anybody steal curd.
Yeah, don't. I don't want to see curd on pump.fun. So tell your 12-year-old kids not to touch our idea.
Don't touch curd.
Don't touch it. So anyway, guys, I want to be respectful of your time. I want to thank you guys so much for joining us here today. Check out glitch.financial if you want to get in on the beta for this. Again, this is built on top of BitTensor Tau, fantastic decentralized AI platform. Tau is a performer. We have multiple people in our community who are very bullish on Tau, have been in Tau for a very long time. So seeing the fruits of the labor of just the work on the framework with BitTensor overall to produce environments, teams, protocols like Glitch Financial, like Taoshi in their subnet. These are all things to celebrate. These are things that are going to pave the way for the next big pieces of technology that come through. So if you're looking for that platform to help you, generate that generational wealth, you can't go much worse at all than at Glitch Financial. Did I say that right? I wanted that to be the ultimate compliment, but it didn't sound like that. Came out of my mouth.
I think we got that.
Oh well. No, definitely check out Glitch.
Yeah, thanks for having us. This has been great. This is fantastic. I love the beginning and being honestly just following the news and stuff. It was just great the way that you presented it. So
100%.
Yeah, and this is what we've been doing this every week since December 2021 in some form with our communities, and that's really the goal, to educate, because obviously there's a ton of news that comes out every week. They're like, that's cool, what does that mean to me? And that's really our goal, is to make sure that we bring on the right protocols, the right guests, get their analysis, because everybody has a really interesting opinion on everything that's coming on, and really just getting your alpha, not your alpha, but just really your information for the week that can help you maybe make that decision. So with that said, obviously join our free group, skool.com/beacon, for more of these great talks. We'll obviously have recordings of all of these shows that we do every week. It's also on our YouTube, also on our Twitter. And we also have a free training that happens every Friday, 3 p.m. Eastern. You get that time with me, where we talk about, whatever's going on. So, like last week, we talked about the keys about taking profit and understanding all the wins that people are having right now, what you should be focusing on and, taking care of at this time in the world with your bags, because it's so important. That it's easy to make the money, as we all know, gentlemen. It's harder to keep the money. So, protection of wealth, max protection of gains, that's all we talk about here at Beacon DeFi through our free group, Total Value Locked. And of course, thanks to our Beacon Mastermind members, our founding members, and our Beacon Accelerator members, our quick 90-day onboarding program offer that help make all of this possible. Thanks to you guys for joining us here today. We'll see you next week with another brand new panel here with us, talking about the news of the week, as well as all the great things in Web3, crypto investing, and DeFi. we'll see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us today again. Check out Glitch Financial. Check out Taoshi. And we'll see you next time. As we say here, beacons up, banks down. 07, guys. We'll see you next week.
Hey, Chris. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.